How would you work again with the current board of trustees?
As a trustee, I have a good as a candidate. I've been an organizer since 2013 in Dallas, which have allowed me to build relationships with a lot of different school board trustees when it comes to trying to get things done. When it comes to the discipline policy, when it comes to defeating home rule, I help co-chair our community, our schools, which is a lot of different organizations coming together and having to work to defeat a particular issue. When it comes to Strong School, Strong Dallas, I brought our community, our schools, and other organizations to the table to actually help advocate for that tax ratification election. It's very important that you're able to have relationships with everybody, even people you don't agree with, to make some type of concessions when you're trying to get things done. We need the type of leadership that's going to try to work with everyone. If I have an issue or a policy issue, I'm going to come and engage my community, have community meetings in my district about what are the issues. I'm also going to work with the particular trustee who might not agree with me. Come to my district, come to my community, find out what their concerns are, what are their issues, and then let's negotiate and come up with a real solution on how we get something done. That's what it's going to take. And I believe that, I'm a firm believer in life that we don't get what we deserve, we get what we negotiate. So we have to have someone that's willing to negotiate with everyone and willing to make decisions so we can get to that 5. And hopefully we can get to a point where everything is 9, where we have those unanimous votes, just like the discipline policy was. And that's what I believe. I believe it's all about working together collaboratively, understanding each one's issues, each one's need, understanding if we all want to do the best interest of kids, and then coming up with some real solutions on making it happen.
Story about interacting with a DISD student.
So, when I first moved to Dallas, I would spend every weekend through my fraternity mentoring African American boys. So I led the middle school initiative. We had about 40 young boys, 100 in total. That's my bias. I don't know if you heard that. That's coming from my experience, what I'm most passionate about. But I recognize my bias. That means I don't treat other people differently, but I just know that I have to be aware of that, or I am going to treat other people differently. The most influential experience I've had is probably more recently. Me and Mr. Turner were fortunate enough a few days ago to get invited to a panel of to sit in front of about 200 kids. So these kids were mostly from D9, Rangel, Lincoln, Madison, but these students for the past 9 months, you probably watched it on the news, they've just been very engaged in what's going on in the community. And unlike me when I was in high school and I was trying to play basketball, get money working at Best Buy and some other stuff that I would not like to share, but I wasn't focused on what was going on beyond the school. Our kids right now, without naming them, at Lincoln and Madison and Rangel, these many schools are so committed to social justice and advocating for others. They're literally in the streets. There are walkouts on Friday from a lot of DISD schools. So to be in front of those kids and see how passionate they were, not only about their own experience, but how they can make it better for other people, was a moving experience for me. Their questions were the best questions, in my opinion, we've gotten on this campaign trail. Adults often, including myself, we have agendas, we're running for office, we're supporting this candidate, we're supporting that candidate. These kids just cared about their experience within our schools. So we heard stuff from them that we hadn't heard before. So that was a very recent interaction that was really moving for me, and it wasn't really me serving and mentoring in the capacity that I've done before. It was them mentoring me and telling me what I should be thinking about when I'm running for this seat. And I told them, you need to give us a demand. Like if you're gonna ask, you have to demand something from us. And they made us sign a pledge that we didn't know about going in. But they had demands. I mean, they are so passionate about their community and improving their community. One student said, you know, the college, she was in the top of her class. The college recruiters come to my high school and they only talk to us, the top of the class. But there's so many kids in my school that need to know what college is about. I told the college recruiter, don't just come talk to me. Go talk to all the students in this school, whether they meet your criteria or not. So our youth right now are so engaged and so empowered. I think it's our job as adults and educators, thank you for sitting today, to empower them even further. Give them the skills, the resources, and whatever we have to let them shape the world in which they stand. The same way people helped us shape the world in which we stand now. It's time for us to empower them. So that was the most moving thing. It was a phenomenal event. I think Faith in Texas and some other folks organized it. I don't remember, but it was a phenomenal event.
Well, like I said, I'm born and raised right here in the heart of South Dallas. And education is so important to me because I know that these kids will not have an opportunity unless we as a school board provide the best quality education for all kids in DISD. And I have worked tirelessly over the last 9 years to make that happen since I've been back in Dallas. That's why I want to focus on expanding things like pre-K, pre-K3, pre-K4. I believe that should be all day. And we should have to focus on our little kids to make sure they are ready to learn at those early ages. I also want to focus on the wraparound support services. That's really important because our kids have so much trauma that goes on at home. I live in Ebon Village. I see what these kids go through. I see these parents. I see these kids talk to each other, they curse each other out, they just say things like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm even talking like this. And they bring this to the school. So how are we not going to meet parents where they are and building this relationship between teachers and parents and providing that wraparound support for these kids that are dealing with so many social emotional issues and PTSD? I want to focus on college and career readiness. Yes, we need to expand more programs like Montessori schools, IB schools, STEAM schools, but we also have to realize every kid is not going to go to college. And for those kids who choose to go to college, we need to make sure that we have programs where they can graduate high school with at least 60 college credit hours. And then we also need to bring back those job training programs because you can't outsource a plumber, you can't outsource an electrician, you can't outsource a mechanic. We have hundreds of thousands of jobs right here readily available here in the city of Dallas, and we are not creating a pipeline in our schools. Yes, Skyline has a pipeline, but all of our schools should have a pipeline so kids are going out into the workforce ready to work. Why is that important to me? Because I have friends, I have family members right now that you see up and down these streets. They weren't bad kids in high school. They was actually good kids. And then what happens is there's no career path for them. They go out here into the community, they start selling drugs. Before you know it, they get caught up in the trap house, they got a felony, and next guess what, their life is messed up. But if we had a plan in place to make sure they was going into the job market, making a decent livable wage, they wouldn't even be out there hustling, selling drugs, and can't even get their life together.
So as I stated before, the 13 cents I would support. I won't reiterate the reasons because I think it is time to get to questions from the forum. I do want to add a few things about the tax ratification election. The tax ratification election was one of the unique times in our city where you had a ton of individuals that normally disagreed in the public education space coming together. There was a group of 17 folks, organizations, you're talking about AFT, NEA, commits, Dallas Kids, for all these people that are usually at odds with each other, they came together to advocate for the TRE because they collectively recognized as a group of 17 very different groups that it was really important for our kids to get access to these resources, that we needed it. They wanted the money to be used for different reasons, but 17 groups that were usually at odds with each other, that were usually battling each other, came together and lobbied our trustees to just put it before the voters so that we could decide. So I don't want you to think that this is just, my issue or Mr. Turner's issue. This was a lot of folks with a lot of different opinions, with a lot of different backgrounds that really wanted to see this tax ratification election go before the voters. So I do want to share that. And again, I would support the 13 cents TRE. I believe in racial equity. I think a lot of the things we're hearing about how is money being spent, it's always going to be like that. It's always going to be who has the loudest voice is going to get the money. That's how SOC got the infrastructure. The only way we can protect ourselves from that is policy. And that's what I'm running for. I'm not saying what I'm against. I'm not defined by what I'm against. It's what I'm trying to accomplish. I want policies in place that Minneapolis already has, that St. Louis already has, racial equity policies that demands an administration, demands a trustee board to make sure that they put racial equity in every decision they make. Every single decision. So if you're passing a bond and you're spending all the money with the Latino community, or all the money with the white community, or all the money with the African American community, there is a trigger via policy to hold them accountable. We can't just continue to let it just go by the ebbs and flows, how I feel this day, how I feel that way. If it's not instituted in policy, there's no hammer. There's no way to say, superintendent, if you keep not sending the bond money to the southern sector, you're going to get fired. There's no way for them to say, board, I'm going to hold you accountable via this policy. And if you're not adequately funding communities in the Latino community, we're going to have a problem. There's nothing like that anymore. So we can't just keep talking about the problem. We got to put real solutions in place that give us that hammer to get to the solutions. We can't just talk about it. So it's policy driven. This is a position where you hire and fire the superintendent, that's one of your hammers. You approve the budget, that's another one of your hammers. So if you don't like the budget, we need to change the budget to get it where we are before you approve it. And then the third piece is setting policy. We don't spend enough time on this board talking about policy. Most of the policy has been passed for our community that benefits our community, like keeping our young boys out of the school to prison pipeline, proposed by other trustees. When we talk about our young boys being disciplined the way I was disciplined in second grade, the way they were going to track me to prison, That was other trustees proposing these policies. We have to really be thoughtful, looking what's going on in Chicago, what's going on in DC, what's going on. We gotta look for policies that work for our communities and get them established right here in Dallas.
Hello, this is Ariel Johnson, producer for 40 Acres News Media. I want to make you aware that the incumbent, who is Bernadette Nutall for District 9 DISD School Board Trustee, asked us at the time of this recording to not record her and to not photograph her. As 40 Acres News Media representative, I want to inform you that it is our intention to be as objective as possible when reporting the news, and to also honor the request of those who do not wish to be recorded or photographed for some reason. So thank you once again for tuning in. Again, early voting takes place on Monday, April the 23rd. Please go to the polls and vote for who you believe is the best candidate for the job.